Okay. All right. Should we start?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's do this.
All right.
All right. Let's see. We're back. I think this is episode 6 or 7 now. I can't really
Nice.
remember, but I have my good longtime friend here, Edward Molter. I was thinking about how we should kick this off. I was thinking maybe we should start with a little bit of like how we know each other, you know?
Okay.
Yeah,
That works.
I mean, because for people who are listening, they don't know. So, Eddie and I, we used to play paintball together, pretty seriously. We were, let's see, what division did we play? We played
D3.
Yeah, D3. For a long time. Eddie was like my longtime mentor and coach. Kind of like showed me the ropes, and we started a team called Fearless.
Yep.
And there was a couple squads for that team back in the day. This was
Do you actually remember the first time we met?
I think it was at the field that was at my house.
Yeah.
Was that right? And it was kind of an interesting first meet because I had a gun,
Exactly,
a paintball gun that was it was a free, what was it? Was it a freestyle? Yeah, one of those Naughty Dog freestyles. And I had just got it, and you had just lost it. Somebody had stolen it from you.
Yeah.
And you came out to my field because we had a practice field at my house. Yeah. And you're like, hey, where'd you get that gun?
Yeah.
And actually, where did I buy that gun? I can't remember it, honestly.
You traded some guy at Paintball Palace.
That's right.
Your old autococker.
That's right.
That you had.
Yeah.
Because you were wanting to get a speedball gun or something that was more electronic.
Yeah.
And so he was willing to trade you.
Right.
And then I saw it, and I just thought it was another freestyle, but there were certain prototype parts that were done on it.
Yeah, the trigger on that one was super nice.
Yeah, and so that's what set it off, is me recognizing the gun was the trigger, that it was, I was like, that.
And the board that was in it, too.
Yeah, well, no, it was the bolt.
Oh, the bolt, yeah.
Yeah, because Rocky had done some modifications to the stock bolts in them to make them more air efficient.
Yeah.
And so
those guns were so bad on air.
Yeah.
Even with that mod.
Horrible.
So bad.
But yeah, the trigger was the giveaway, and then I asked you some questions about it, and you're just like, I could tell you were nervous, like you knew something was up with the gun.
I think I had just got it, and then I could tell that you were like gonna say something, like I didn't know what, but I was like, maybe this gun, I don't know where. I mean,
you're like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
Like, why are you asking me so many questions? I don't know you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, it ended up being the gun that I'd lost, and I was just like,
it had gotten stolen out of your car. I think.
I think I had gotten insurance money out of it, so I was just like, dude, all I want to know is who you got it from, and you explained a guy that to a guy that I knew that came into the palace regularly.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, well, that makes sense that it would be him.
Yeah.
Something like that, and that was the end of it. And then we started playing shortly.
Practicing at the field at my house. We had like a hyperball set up out there.
Yep.
Right behind the house, and we would do practice every Sunday, and then you and I started playing more together more, and we started that team Fearless. Yeah. And I can't remember exactly what year this was. This was like when I was in high school, so this must have been like 12.
So 06 is probably
you're right.
06 was probably when we met the first time.
Yeah.
And then the end of 06 is when Fearless started, and 07 is when I came on.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
Because we went to Huntington Beach, which was your first national event, which was my first national event.
That was such a fun time. I've been to Huntington Beach since several times, and every time I go there, I just love it so much. It's such a fun place to be.
Yeah, no, it's a great place. I wish events would go back there, but it's just too damn expensive.
And it was really cool. Like, for those that don't know, like they used to have the paintball tournament like right there on the beach,
right
like,
next
set up
to the pier,
and the bunkers.
Yeah, right next to the pier. The first year they did it, it was on the sand, and then thereafter for the next I think probably close to 10 years, they laid turf on the sand, and then you played on the turf.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they did switch to turf. That's right.
Yeah. The first year,
when I played there, it was turf. That's right.
Yeah.
It was not on the
Which
sand.
was the second year I think second or third year of Huntington Beach was when we went.
The sand must have been so rough on the guns.
Yeah, that's why they started turfing it.
Yeah, I figured.
Because, about half the guns didn't work at the first event.
Yeah.
And everybody complained about not necessarily the damage to the guns. It was the fact that nobody could run anywhere because it's like you're running it in like
you're just slow motion, like stuck
so
in the sand.
It was a nightmare. So they decided to turf it the next year.
Yeah, that makes sense. Playing on turf is so nice and just amazing. That field you guys have out of Diamond Hill is so nice, man. I love it. You finally got the turf set. We used to play in the mud every weekend.
Oh yeah, no, it was a different time for sure. I mean, but people were different too. So
hardcore.
Yeah, well, people. It was. I mean, it's just a different generation. Everybody wanted to grind then.
Well, yeah. Now it's been done more. I feel like fields
now
set
everybody's
up with
more worried about the athletic side of it, and so
they've got the field and the gear so dialed in now.
Yeah. There's not as much grit in the paintball world as there was back then.
Yeah. Yeah. I have. It's crazy because I haven't been around it for. Well, I mean, I have a little bit, coming out there and reffing, helping you guys, but I haven't really been competitive, tournaments or anything like that for a long time now. I think it's probably been maybe like 12 years or something.
2010 would have been the last year you played competitively, like seriously.
That's right. Yeah. So it's been a long time for me. So yeah, we had Fearless. Then did Fearless had ended, and then I went to the Dogs. I can't remember exactly.
It was slowly coming apart.
Yeah.
At the same time, the Dogs
they were
started a semi-pro team, and then
team.
I would say about the guys that were all on Fearless still at that time of the transition. I think every one of them went to the tryouts.
Right.
And
That's
then
right.
like you, Josh, and
bunch of the Shameless guys got on there.
Yeah, and there was one other person from Fearless that I think was gonna make the cut, but then ended up stopping. I can't remember who it was. I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember either, but I definitely know me and Josh were on there, and then a bunch of Fearless guys. Wes and
a bunch of the old Shameless guys. You guys. There were several other guys that used to play back in the day that all probably at points made it in the tryouts.
Yeah.
And what's funny about that is so many people were at that tryout, and there were so many people that made this initial cut, and then the people that stuck with it and went on to be that team, all those other guys that made the cut just stopped playing. Like it was like,
after they got the
cool.
spot?
Yeah, I mean, like David Carmichael is, and God, there was another guy. I just was talking to him the other day. But anyways, I know both of those guys had made the cut, and they were gonna be on the squad, and then they literally like said, "Oh yeah, cool," and then just stopped showing up.
Yeah. Yeah, that was such an awesome squad to get to be a part of.
Yeah.
Me and Josh, there was Demchek, there was Wesley, Brian Strode, Brian Wood was like the captain and the leader coach guy. Then there was Blake. Blake was on there.
Yeah.
Blake was already playing Night Dogs for a long time.
Yeah.
And and we ended up winning the series for our division that year.
Yeah,
and
which is what
won an event too.
Yeah, which is what gave Seattle Thunder their spot.
Yeah,
for the next year.
I was like so like on the fence, like I was gonna keep going or just quit cold turkey because I was like getting ready to move out, and
you were getting the band that you were playing with at the time, because that was right when you were when you guys all started taking it serious.
That's right. Yeah,
and you were like, I can either go this direction or I can try and go this direction.
That's right.
And
I know like how hard it is to build a squad that's like that competitive, and I just knew that like you gotta put 110% into it.
Well, what was impressive is that like most of those guys had all been playing probably 2 divisions down from where you guys played.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then went and built that team, and then went and competed at that caliber
and won
the series.
Yeah. Yeah. And so like going into the next year, I was like, I can keep playing or I can try to pursue these other things, and I just quit cold turkey, and
pretty much everybody did.
Yeah. except for Demchek. I see him playing, he's killing it.
Demchek stayed with the squad because he was with Thunder the first year. Most of the guys that stuck, like you and Josh, left. And then I think Blake stopped too.
He's playing again now, though, right?
He plays off and on.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, so like the original squad of Thunder was mainly what was left of the guys from Dogs, which was Corey, Map, Mikey, Lou.
That's right.
And Scotty.
Yeah.
I think that was, and maybe one other one. T-Mac was a part of the original.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and so those guys plus what was left of the semi-pro team that you played with became Thunder the following year.
That's right. Yeah, and
Thunder.
When did they pick up Patty? Because Patty was a part of Fearless for a long time, and then he went away.
Well, Patty had some stuff that was going on personal-wise, and he moved back away from the Northwest and went back home to Hawaii.
Yeah.
Got himself figured out and then started playing again over there. And he stayed very close to Corey after that. And so I know Corey they were always talking. And eventually Corey started having him keeping more of an eye on him as far as like what he was doing.
Yeah.
And he was playing several events. His team was coming over from Hawaii and playing in California a lot. And eventually he made the decision of moving back up to the Seattle area where he had family. And when he came up there, Corey gave him a shot.
That's so cool.
On the pro squad.
And now Patty's like a legit pro now.
He's not only
like
a legit pro, but he's also a fitness guy.
Yeah.
He's just became the trainer for I forget what they're called. I think they're called the Seawolves or something like that. But it's Portland's professional rugby team.
Oh, cool.
He just became one of their.
Does Patty play rugby, or he's just doing
he's
physical
just doing
stuff?
Physical training for him.
Okay.
But they just hired him a couple weeks ago to become an assistant trainer for them.
Yeah, he looks like he's killing it. I mean, I follow him, and I follow some people on Instagram, and I try to stay a little in touch with that world.
Yeah.
And I follow like Patty and Corey and you and Demchek and Thomas Taylor.
Yeah.
I follow Greenspan, Ryan Greenspan from Dynasty, and try to stay in touch with it still. I see I follow HK, see all the new gear and guns coming out.
It's one of those things when you put the time in that I found with the people that have put the time in, even if it's a very short amount of time, they never fully leave paintball. They either follow it in some aspects or they'll come play every once in a while.
Yeah.
I mean, I hear from people that I've known over the years all the time, and they're just like, hey, I hear this is going on, and and people are still always curious of it.
Yeah.
And I think it's just once you become part of that community, it never leaves you.
I feel that
fully.
Yeah, I mean, whenever I go out there to your guys' field, and I see people that I used to see, or even new people, just always like, picking up where you left off.
It's almost like you're coming home every once in a while.
Yeah. You're visiting a group.
But
of
I
friends.
think it comes from the amount of time you put into something like that, right? It's just you put so much into it that it never fully leaves your system.
Right, yeah.
Ever.
I was going to say, too, I had a thought before this, one of the things that I've admired about you is that you've stuck with it for so long and you just love it so much, man.
Yeah, I think it was meant to be part of my life long before it ever became part of my life.
Yeah.
I just missed the opportunities. Because as I look back, as I get older, I see certain signs of things.
Yeah.
And paintball has always been close by ever since I was probably 10, since the early days of it.
Yeah.
It's always been around me in some aspects, and I just never bit into it until I moved up here. And it was mainly when I came up here, I heard about it more and more, and then I moved up here on kind of a whim.
Yeah.
And so I didn't have anybody that I was hanging out with or people that I knew or anything like that, really. I had 2 friends that I knew from where I originally was from the Bay Area. And then they moved up here, and they're the ones that kind of got me to come up here. And I came up here and I liked it and stayed. But I was like, I'm not just gonna hang out with these two people all the time. And so I was like, I need to find friends. So I was always trying to find things to do. And a guy I'd met at work was going to go play at a local indoor place that used to exist here. And he was like, hey, you should come with us. And I was like, yeah, I've always been curious about it. And I went and played that night, and that was pretty much it.
Yeah.
I played ever since.
Yeah, once you get that like first taste. Also, too, I was gonna say like one of the like it's such a fun game, and it's such a like it's gunfighting as a sport. It's like it's like such a like I don't know. It's like a scenario. It's so fun. It's so adrenaline filled, and it's like kind of applicable. Not everybody's like combat fighting, but it's like I said, it's gunfighting as a sport. You get to play it and learn how to do it, but also like get to keep playing.
But I think it's the adrenaline rush, right?
Yeah.
It's not so much about going out. Like initially, I think sometimes it's what gets people involved into it is going out and being able to shoot a projectile out of a barrel at somebody else. I think that sometimes is something that gets people to go do it. But I think once they get involved in it, it's more than just
like
going out.
Community.
It's the community. It's like it's the first thing. Like when I was growing up and when I was in high school, I was big into music, like you are now. Like I played all the time, and went and played with bands all over the place and all that kind of stuff. And it was because that community,
right?
That family environment that you were looking for, kind of.
Totally.
And when I came up here, that was the easiest thing for me to look for. Again, was trying to find musicians around here because I still had drums and all that kind of stuff, which I did when I first moved up here. I played some of the local bars and stuff like that for the first 2 years. And then the guys I was playing with, they just up and disappeared one day. And I was like, okay. And I stopped playing, and I didn't know anybody else. And then I got involved in paintball and stopped playing music.
Yeah. No, like I said, with that community thing, I was reminded me of one thing that I remember, like, because, you used to coach our team, and, you taught us a lot of stuff. Like, one thing that you really kind of installed in me that I think has helped me in a lot of other areas, obviously outside of paintball and stuff, but it's just like, is like the, like, I guess the benefits of like drills and just running drills, putting the work in, and just showing up day after day, and putting the work in. It's just you set up a drill, you try to emulate your goal or what you're doing in the task, and just do it over and over until it's muscle memory.
Oh yeah. No, and that's another thing that's an aspect of paintball that I don't think a lot of people know from outside of being involved in it is there is a crapload of lessons that you can learn by being involved in it that can better you as a person and in life and just in general of how your worth ethic and all that stuff. I've been doing this for a long time, and so there's a cycle of kids that come in and out of the sport all the time.
Right.
And like I'm going through a new cycle right now. There's a bunch of new kids that are out playing, and it's interesting to see, like, because you see so much of the world now, and it's people are lazy and don't want to do anything and all that kind of stuff. It's good to see kids still, that there's kids out there that are willing to put that kind of time and effort into stuff.
Absolutely.
They're going to succeed in whatever they kind of set their mind towards.
Yeah, I think hobbies are really beneficial that way. It just like kind of gives you something to be as good as you can be at it.
Yeah.
And, learn how to do that.
Yeah.
I think that's really good.
But yeah, I mean, that's one thing I think that has driven me to stay in the sport is for so long is the fact that it's given me so much and a direction that I don't know if I would have ever had without it.
Sure.
So
yeah, and lots of friends that you never would have met without it.
Oh yeah, that's the amount of people I know because of this sport is I can't even fathom.
Yeah.
Like it's insane.
Yeah.
And what's even funnier now is like because paintball cycles a lot. So because it is an expensive it's a sport, but it's a sport hobby, right? There's no big money in it unless you're very lucky.
Yeah.
And so I kind of lost my train of thought there.
That's okay. You said sport hobby.
Yeah, it's it's a sport hobby, and so people like kids get attracted to it, and then so they get involved in it, and then it becomes a financial burden as they grow up and become adults.
Yeah.
And so sometimes they can't figure out a way, or they lose interest in it because other interests are happening.
Kind of like what happened to me.
Yeah. And so you see them leave, right?
Yeah.
But then you also see those people come back as they've gotten through some of their life.
Yeah.
You know, and so I'm seeing some of those guys from when I first started working in the industry at Paintball Palace, which is a lot of the people in this area came from.
Yeah.
And so I'm seeing those guys now as adults coming back, and it blows my mind because they know me and I don't know them.
Oh yeah.
Like the other day we were at practice, and this guy,
you're like a celebrity, Eddie.
That's something it's becoming a little apparent, not celebrity wise, but that
like a legend.
Well, no, that I've influenced a lot of people.
Absolutely.
That I didn't ever realize I had.
Oh yeah.
So it's you saying what you've said today is kind of choking me up because it's making me realize that a lot more.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense. Yeah.
But anyways, this guy like comes up. He's been out there several times, and you know he's always been friendly, but he always seemed like he knew me, and I had no clue to who he was.
Uh-huh.
And then the other day we were sitting there talking, because one thing you do after practice is just like you get any group of guys together, the bullshit stories come out. You know, everybody starts chatting. Blah 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 blah. Well, we were sitting there talking, telling a story, or I was. And this guy Dustin, he comes up and he goes, "Oh yeah, you know, you remember your house at such and such and blah blah blah. You know, we were doing this one night." And I'm like, "What?" Like, it's very familiar. Like, it sounds like something that would have happened. But I was like, "How do you know that?" And he's like, "I was there." And I was just like, "You what?"
Yeah.
Like, and he's like, "Yeah, I was there. You remember such and such and such?" I was like, "Yeah, I remember." I was like the guy, the little kid that was hanging out with all those guys. I was like, mind blown. I was just like, whoa.
Yeah, you're
because now he's like a 30-year-old man with this big, huge beard.
Yeah.
And fucking, I was just like, wow. Like if he would have never said anything, I just thought he was another new player that was coming in.
Right.
But yet, no,
I
knew him like, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
For several years, and I see that. I see that every once in a while. It's crazy.
That's really cool. Yeah, super cool. Speaking of friends, I was going to ask you if you had seen Paulie lately, if you guys are still doing your podcast. What's going on with that?
Actually, me and him just had dinner last night.
Cool. Nice.
He's been wanting to take me out to dinner for my birthday.
So real quick, for those who don't know, Eddie, Paul is a friend of ours, mutual friend of ours. They have a podcast together and used to play paintball together.
Yeah, that's how we all know each other. But yeah, me and Paul had talked about it for several years because I used to live with him and his family. We talked about doing one because me and him were always big since podcasts basically became so big. We've all been me and him have been big podcasts.
Yeah, you guys have
freaks.
a podcast. It's called Buddies with Bruised Bananas.
Yeah, and so
I've been on once.
Yeah, it was awesome. We've been talking about it for a few years of doing one. His thing was always trying to come up with subjects for it, and I was just like, no, I think I like the podcast where it's just a bunch of guys getting together and talking,
just freestyling.
Yeah,
I like that too.
And so I was like, no, let's just not script it and let's just go. And eventually, this last year, we ended up he ended up investing in all the stuff, and we started a podcast, and it was doing good, and then like things happen, life happens, and Paul got a different job, and now his schedule doesn't really allow us to do it anymore.
Yeah.
Between our schedules, because like my free times are either on the weekend in the evenings, or I have to squeeze you in somewhere during the week, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so he's busy Monday through Friday, and then is usually free on the weekends.
And
so
you're working the
yeah, and
I'm
I'm working on the weekends, and then so it's become difficult to try and schedule it. So we've kind of just put it on the back burner for the time being.
Yeah, but you guys are it's still a thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll come back, like, because we had stopped when he started his new job, and then we've done 2 since then. And then we just haven't had the time. You know, holidays came around, and then now things are starting to settle down. And I've been thinking about just saying to him, like, if he doesn't have the time to do it, that I've thought about starting one on my own.
That's cool. You guys could have one together, and you could have one.
I'm just not 100% yet.
Would you do a podcast like by yourself, or would you have guests? How would you want to run it?
I would do it with guests, but I wouldn't always have guests. It would just kind of be what I've thought about doing is because of like conversations like I've had with you today, and had several others recently, where I've realized that I have influenced people, is just like talking about my life.
Yeah, like, telling your stories.
Yeah, because I think it could be something that would be interesting to people.
Yeah,
because I've come to the conclusion that I have not ever lived the typical life in the entire time I've grown up.
Yeah.
And so I've experienced things that maybe other people haven't.
Sure.
Which is one thing that I have discovered in paintball in the last like 2 or 3 years, is there's a lot of people that never leave their general area. Like they've never, like, in the last 4 or 5 years, I've met so many people that have never even been out of the Pacific Northwest, not even as far as going to Medford.
Yeah.
And it's like, you gotta be kidding me. Like,
get out there.
Yeah, like, never left the state.
Yeah.
Like, and you're in your 30s? Like, that blows my mind to me.
That does kind of blow my mind, yeah.
Yeah, because I think of all the times I've traveled, and not only just with paintball, but just in general.
Yeah.
I've been all over the United States.
That was always one of the fun things about, playing tournaments and traveling, just getting to go to new places.
It's the memories too, right? Yeah. And that's one thing I've learned. Like, I'm 51 years old now. Yeah. Like, I got less time in front of me than I do behind me, And so one thing I've learned over these years is, like, you can't take the money. Yeah. You can't take anything with you. But what you can do, in theory, is take your conscience with you.
Yeah.
Which means you take all those memories. So everything that you do in life, if you're not making some kind of memory, you're losing out on living.
Sure.
As far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. One of the things that I really actually like about podcasting is that that the memories like that get to kind of go move on and maybe outlive you, and you get to reach more people, and it's really cool to just record those, like, to tell your stories and just let people know and tell things. Like, I would love to get my dad on here and just talk about him and let him tell his story. Your dad, like you say, that I've influenced you. Yeah. I don't know what it is about your dad. Yeah. I love that man. Like, he was my own father. Yeah. Like, he could ask me anything and I'd do it for him. Yeah. Like, I don't think he's ever known that, but that's just how I've always felt about your dad. Yeah, he's such a solid dude. I'm so lucky to have him as my dad. No, he's one of the greatest guys. We were just telling a story about him the other day. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. Yeah, he was always so supportive and, coming to practices and taking us to tournaments and, doing whatever he can to get us out there. And I mean, he was always there. Yeah. He helped coach. Yeah. He helped run the team. Mm-hmm. He helped in every aspect of the team. Manage the team, coach the team, all that stuff. But no, I mean, so that's my theory, is that if I do start a podcast on my own, it's going to be telling stories and memories that impacted my life, and then bringing those people that were involved in those stories in
whether it's through Zoom or in person or whatever.
Yeah, that'd be really cool, man. Yeah, I mean, just stick with it, and you can, like I said, you could do both. That'd be cool too. Whenever
No. And that's kind of where I'm planning because, like, but I'm building. I bought a van and I'm building it into a place that I can live in pretty much full time.
Yeah.
And then I want to travel. So I'm looking at things that I can do to make a little bit of money while I'm on the road.
That's awesome. How's the build going with the van?
It's completely sheeted inside, all insulated, and then now I'm starting to build the platform for the bed, and then I'll start building cabinets and all that kind of stuff in.
Nice, that's awesome. So, I'm super fascinated by those like custom builds and stuff, just because I've built a tour bus for the band, and like now when I see those kind of custom builds like that, I'm super interested.
Yeah,
I love it.
You never know what life's gonna bring you, so being able to finding a place to live because of how I've run my life has always been a struggle in ways, and so having something that I know that I can always lay my head in and not have to worry about being homeless.
That's peace of mind.
It's peace of mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so that's for the last several years I've been thinking that direction, and finally was able to start doing it. So
yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I know, man. It's like times are so tough. Like I want to get saved up and like get into a place of my own. I've always had roommates, and now I really want to get a place by myself and do that, because I think it would just be really, really cool and nice to be able to do. But it's it's crazy just like how expensive everything is, man. It's like
insane.
It's tough. I've been looking, and I'm kind of thinking maybe what you're doing, or also I look at tiny homes. I'm like, oh, those are so cool.
Yeah.
Or looking for even like apartments and stuff. But I mean, it's tough to find anything, dude, for under $900,000.
I know, it's insanity.
Yeah.
So it's sorry about that.
Phone's going off. I didn't silence mine either, so don't feel bad.
It's nice to know that you're gonna have your own space and being able to do your own thing and not have to worry about pissing somebody off.
Yeah.
Like I've always had roommates pretty much my entire life, and even when I've had my own places, I've ended up having roommates in the long run just because I get lonely, I guess. So it's nice having somebody, to go hang out with every once in a while and kind of stuff. But
I know some people too, like I feel like the pandemic, like if you live by yourself, has been like extra like bad for people who live by themselves as far as like being isolated goes, not having anybody around.
You got to think of the world most of those that for the last 15 years has been, it's all social based, right?
Yeah, we used to stand shoulder to shoulder at clubs and shows.
Well, but even you got a phone in your pocket, you can see what every one of your friends is doing. At the time.
Yeah.
So you always know what everybody's
super
doing.
Connected to everybody.
So you could, and then all of a sudden you're told that you can't do anything with anybody, and you just have to stay home and isolate yourself.
Yeah.
And it's like, and you don't think people are going to freak out about that?
Yeah.
And people are going to have all kinds of health issues and mental issues,
especially.
And it's insane to me that you build a country that's basically completely socialized, and then you tell them that they can't socialize with anybody. It's like you're going downhill real fast.
Yeah, I remember like after the first time after at COVID, just after coming out of quarantine and stuff, just like looking for something to do, and that was kind of where I picked up disc golf.
Yeah,
it's just like you could do it outside, get together with a little group of buddies, and and it's been really fun. I've been playing for about a year now, and I recently got you playing in the last couple months.
Yeah,
and we're gonna go later on.
Yeah,
and it's been really fun. I've tried to like stay consistent, but I love playing disc golf. I want to get really good at it, but I'm also like really into playing the drums.
Yeah.
And then I'm trying to do like I got the multiple bands and podcast, and so I'm trying to I have so many things going on. And it's hard to be really good at one of them when you want to be good at all of them.
Yeah. You just it's just like anything, man. You work, at one.
Yeah.
You get so good at it, you work at another, and you get so good at it, and you just
and it
keep
just takes
building.
time.
Yeah, it's just building.
Progress is incremental. It's it doesn't happen overnight. It's like little tiny things that you get better at, like day by day. And that's one thing that the drums really teaches me. Like literally, when I'm learning like a tough song or something like that, like I'll learn, I'll start and I'll learn the first piece of it at a slower tempo and just like work on it little by little and try to get it up to the right tempo and make sure you're hitting every note just right. But it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't come over in one day. It comes over incrementally. So you just got to keep sticking with it.
Yeah, I think, and that's like anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't, I mean, everybody gets frustrated when they're learning something new or even something they've known for a while, but you have to figure out a way to get over that frustration and just
if you really
put your
want
head,
to be
if you put your head down and keep going, eventually it'll be less and less frustrating.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah, and going back to what we were talking about with the drills and all that and stuff, like that's just, I feel like that's something that is stuck with me.
Oh yeah.
And helped me in a lot of areas.
Yeah. No, it's all just learning, right? Learning how to become better at something, Yeah. It all comes down to like the more effort you put into it, the more you're going to get out of it.
Yeah, totally.
If you put a little bit of effort in it, doesn't mean you're not going to get anything out of it. It just means you're not going to get out as much as, if you put twice as much effort into it, as much as you would get out of it then.
Yeah. I've been trying to stay like where I could get like par each time, but I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
some of my friends have been playing for like a couple months, and I'm like, they're like there. I'm like, dang, dude, like how you get so good so fast? There's a bit of natural.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Anything you can be have some kind of natural talent, and that just it makes the frustration easier. It doesn't mean that you don't have to put the work in.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's like you think about all the top athletes in the world, the Michael Jordans and all that stuff. If they missed a shot in a game, in an important game, probably even in just a regular game that didn't matter in anything, if he went to take the last shot and he missed it, guess what he was going to be doing the next day?
Yeah.
He's going to be sitting there the entire day making that same shot over and over again until it just became natural to where he would never miss it.
Totally. Yeah, muscle memory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was just, he didn't let the frustration of losing the game or not making that elite basket, he didn't let the frustration get to him. He just realized, okay, I'm not good enough at that shot. I got to get better at it, and then just go put the work in.
Yeah, totally. Let's see. I'm trying to think. We're at 38 minutes. I'm trying to think if there's something we haven't talked about that maybe we should. Paintball and disc golf and music. You played music too, and that's something we haven't really explored. So
yeah. So
you had a band in this area?
I did.
What was the name of your band?
I can't even remember the name of them. It was. I think when I first moved up here, I would go to John Henry's a lot.
I remember John Henry's.
Yeah, I used to go to John Henry.
I guess there was a couple different buildings. So there's the John Henry's in front of what's now the Cowfish, but there was another spot. Which one was it?
It was the one that was right next to Lars Bazaars.
Oh, yeah, that's okay. That's where it was.
That's
where I know it from.
Yeah, that's where it was. And then there was this other little bar. It hasn't existed in years. That was right there on like 6th and Willamette.
Mm-hmm.
It was a little bar. I mean, like a little hole in the bar, and we used to play there a lot too.
Okay.
But we got to play at John Henry's a couple times.
What kind of music were you guys playing?
It was it was interesting. I would say it was a cross between like Nirvana / Smashing Pumpkins and Radiohead.
Okay, it's pretty grungy.
Yeah, it was. The guitar was super like distorted and out of tune most of the time. Bass player was just phenomenal, like very good.
Nice.
Bass player, very groovy bass player. And then the singer, the guitar player sang, and his voice reminded me of Tom York's a lot. Like it wasn't like a good voice, but for the voice that he had, it was perfect.
Yeah, sometimes like a different voice just fits a genre so well.
Yeah, it was. He had like a roughish voice, and it would almost like crack to a certain degree when he would like hold notes.
Okay,
but it was like the perfect fit
cool,
for what we were doing, and he was a phenomenal songwriter. Like the lyrics were super deep and
nice.
had lots of meaning to them. And so, yeah, we used to practice, have a little rehearsal studio on West 11th at the archery place.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier.
Yeah, and so we had a studio there, and we used to practice like 2 or 3 times a week, and then try and get gigs at least like once a month, if not more, and just go around and play. And we didn't make money, and we had a small little following. Like we usually have like 20, 30 people anytime we played.
Yeah.
So it wasn't anything big, but it was a blast. And then like the one guy was from New Jersey, and the other guy was from Boston.
So you guys were a 3-piece?
Yeah.
Right on.
And then like we were rehearsing it, and then for some reason we ended up they got an apartment, and so we just started playing at their apartment, and I would just play on pads and not bring my drums.
Oh wow.
And then
practice that
just
way, huh?
just to practice, and we were writing a lot at the time. So it didn't need to be loud or anything like that.
Yeah.
And so, and then just one day, the bass player was just like called me, and he's like, "Hey, I'm going back home for like a month, and then I'll be back. So we're probably not going to rehearse for a while." And I was like, "Cool." And then I never heard from either of them ever again.
That's funny. Kind of a similar story with the first band that I was in. It was called Don't Ask Alice, and we were a band for a couple of years, and we were all like super into technical metal, and we were getting pretty good. And one of the members ended up moving away, and that just kind of shut it down. But he eventually ended up coming back, and we just I think by then we were all kind of headed in different directions. Aaron and I were doing $1 check, and didn't really get back to putting it together. But that was a fun project. But kind of similar in that
it was weird. It was a bizarre thing. And then like shortly after that, I met some other guys and then played with them, and we played like a couple local parties, and I'm still friends with most of those guys to this day. But they barely play anymore. And I sold my drums after that because I think I needed to do something, pay for something with Paintball at the time. So I was like, it's the easy way to get a couple $100.
Yeah.
And
what kind of drums did you have?
At that time, I had, when I was playing with those guys originally, I had a little Ludwig Sparkle kit.
Nice.
That I bought. And then when I sold that, and I got a 5-piece DW kit.
Ooh, nice. Right on.
And then I built that up to about the same size of where yours is now. Right on.
So you had a lot of cymbals on there too?
Yeah, I had cymbals. I had all kinds of shit. I had I was about to get one of the sampling pads when I stopped playing.
Dude, yeah.
And
those have opened up. That one has opened up so many like options to what you can do.
Yeah.
As far as like sounds and backtracks and triggering noises, and like it's crazy how much you can do with those things. They're so fun to play with.
They're insane. So yeah, I played with them, this group of guys, and then over the years I've stayed in contact with them, and every once in a while we'll get together and jam or something like that just for fun. But they're not very involved in doing anything. They just kind of just hang out with their families. So.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, just at least you guys got to do it, and that was fun.
No. And before I moved up here, I was way more involved. Like I played all over the Bay Area. And
when did you start playing drums? How old were you?
Let's see. I think I was probably right around 10 to 12 years old.
Right on. Nice. That's a bit earlier than I did. I started kind of late. I was like 18 or 17.
Yeah, I I've always been into music. Like I was like a big Elvis fan when I was growing up, and I think my dad was into music, but he wasn't a musician or talented to become a musician.
What did your dad play?
He didn't ever play any instruments, but he was always
just fascinated with music.
Yeah, he was always interested in music, and I took music in school, but I was playing sax.
That's cool.
And then the last year I did music in school, I switched to drums, and that was kind of fun. And then I kind of stuck with it. I bought a drum set shortly after that, and then I knew I had some. My parents had some good family friends that were in Sacramento, and their son's best friend was a drummer, and I always admired him, and so we went up there quite often to their house, and so I always hung out around them.
Yeah.
So I got to meet a lot of popular bands at the time, like Tesla and a few others. Because they gigged with them around Sacramento area a lot, so I got to meet some. That's one thing that's kind of crazy in my life is things that I've gotten involved in, like from music to paintball. I've always got to meet and be around the people that other people always wanted to meet.
Dude, absolutely. That
and it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, like, when you're around something and, there's like the community thing. Yeah, and you get to, especially with like music, you get to, play with some of your favorite bands sometimes, or, paintball, you travel in the tournaments and you get to see like your favorite players in the airports or in the tournaments or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's super cool. I kind of forgot where I was going with that. I had a point. Dang it, dude.
It's like, back when I was playing music, I got to meet Rob Zombie when nobody knew who Rob Zombie was. I got to meet a bunch of the Alice in Chains guys.
Yeah, that's what it was. It reminds me of the time when we were in San Diego at that tournament you mentioned. We actually we met Be Real.
Oh yeah,
because he had a paintball team.
Yep,
it was called Stoned Assassins.
Yep.
And they were there at the same tournament. They were in a different division than us.
Yeah.
But we saw Be Real walking around in the pits, and I was hanging out with Alex Moyer that day.
You guys went and hung out with him.
Yeah. There's actually he tells that story on I think your guys' podcast.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I think I remember.
What's funny about
you guys
that?
Have had Moyer on there a couple times, right?
It goes back to the whole thing of the community and the aspect of paintball and that. That draw that it has once it gets a hold of you. Like, I've listened to Be Real on multiple podcasts. Yeah. Right?
I love his podcast.
Yeah.
He
Dr. always brings up paintball when he's being questioned.
Talks about it.
Yeah, he talks about it all the time.
Yeah.
And I mean, they were around for a few years, and then they just stopped playing.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the fact that, like, he hasn't done paintball in freaking probably 10 or 15 years.
Yeah.
The fact that he still, like, knows anything about it and still discusses it shows you how much it does mean to people that get involved in it.
Yeah, absolutely. They played, I think it was Division 2 or 1, something like that.
I think they were Division 2, and maybe the last year they may have moved up.
That's right, yeah. But Be Real's awesome. I love his podcast. It's great.
Yeah, I haven't listened to his podcast so much, but I've listened to him on other podcasts quite often.
Yeah,
so.
He does that. Actually, he does like that smoke box where they hotbox the car.
Yeah. I've heard several not episodes, but I've heard a lot of people being on there.
Stuff. Yeah,
I just hear the aftermath of people going on his podcast.
Yeah, dude, that would be tough. I couldn't imagine trying to do a podcast and hotbox a car at the same time.
Yeah, speaking of podcasts and that, did you listen to the Rogan and Snoop Dogg one?
Yeah, I did.
Dude, those guys got so
oh my gosh,
so trash.
Yeah. That was a wild one for sure. And then Snoop Dogg did the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah.
That was pretty. Awesome. Did you see that?
Yeah, I watched it on YouTube after it was done.
Okay, yeah, it was pretty cool. I thought it was pretty neat. Seeing Dr. Dre and Eminem and 50 Cent. And I thought it was pretty cool. I'm waiting for Metallica to do the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Speaking of music,
yeah.
So what got you involved in it?
Let's see. What I mean, like I remember I first was playing on a drum kit my friend's dad had, and just I don't know, something about it right away was just like super fun. It made sense to me, you know. Like I looked at it and I was like, I could do that. I want to do that. And you know, my dad played drums, but when I was growing up, that you know he wasn't playing drums anymore, so I never was really around that.
I remember that he had a drum set in the shed at one time.
Well, that was my set.
Was it?
That was my set. Yeah, I was practicing in the shed. But yeah, man. I don't know. It just like was drawn to it. I just was fun, and also too like it's so rewarding. Like you know, you get to perform for people, and it's so fun. There's opportunities to
no, I totally get that.
Play
and the reason I ask is because like we're at the time when you started playing was when you were still playing with me on paintball, and it just seemed like all of a sudden it was like Charles is going to leave and just play music, and I was like, where the hell did all that come from? Like I knew you had gotten a drum set, but I just didn't know until that trip to Vegas. I think it was Vegas or something that we went one year, and the whole time we were in the car you were just talking about getting better at playing drums and then starting to perform. And I think you guys were going to play at like your school.
Yeah, that was my first show ever. Was we played the talent show for school on like my senior year of high school, and two friends and me we wrote 2 songs and performed those, and they were kind of like grungy, you know, pop rock songs, and it was like super fun. We actually ended up winning that talent show, and I kept going after that. You know, we were all listening to like Metallica and you know just heavy music. You know, all kinds of stuff. We were listening to everything, and then it just felt like the better we got, the more technical we were trying to get, and the more faster we were trying to get. And we ended up kind of going in a metal direction. That's one thing I've always like admired about that kind of music is just the chops and the skills that it takes to play it, and the speed. But you know, after that project fell apart, then I have other friends from high school that were wanting to start a reggae band, and so went and tried that out because I was listening to reggae as well. Yeah. And it's been really good to learn how to play other styles to really fill in the gaps and appreciate the space in the music as well as the speed and the chops. You know. And I think it's good to be able to learn from them all so that you can make yourself a well-rounded player in any musical situation.
Well, it makes you have your own style.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, you pick up things from all kinds of all different
what
genres.
You hear in a song on the drums compared to what like I would listen to and hear on the drums is completely different. So what you pick up and learn from it is going to be different than what I would pick up and learn from.
Speaking of that, like when I watch people who can play multiple instruments, which is something I can't do. I can't play guitar, bass, or anything. You know, they tend to, I guess, listen differently than somebody like me who just plays drums. Or like maybe I kind of had to. I kind of took me a while to listen that way to music. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh
yeah. And so that's pretty interesting. But you know, now I feel like I have a good grasp. Like you know, pretty much tell me what to play, and I can learn how to play it. But you know, back in my earlier days, I feel like without that perspective, you know, you put somebody who can play multiple instruments behind the drum set, and they'll play it one way, and you know, put me behind the drum set, and I only play drums, I might play it, you know, totally other way.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's been really just, I don't know, like I said earlier, like really good for me because it gives me something to be as good as I can be at.
Yeah.
And
you've definitely
there's opportunities, you know.
You definitely have. I mean, like I remember when you started, and I listened to your stuff all the time, and it blows my mind.
Thanks.
It's like because I know what it takes to be as good as you are.
Yeah.
Because I've been at that point of like putting the time in to get good at something.
Sure.
And so it's like seeing where you started and where you're at now. It's just like, yeah.
Thanks,
dude,
man.
It blows me away.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, I feel pretty good about, you know, where I'm at. I'm definitely, you know, always trying to improve more lately. You know, I've been trying to build up my pages and my following and stuff like that.
But you've always been that way. You're all like, even like taught like as long as I've known you, you're always have been that kind of person, that hustler.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't let things. I mean, of course, everybody gets bothered by shit, but
Sure.
it's like you just put your head down and go that direction, and you don't let anything kind of roadblock you, and that includes like life in general, right? Like you don't have like necessarily, as far as I know, like a permanent job. You hustle.
Yeah,
to
I
make
do
money.
lots of different things for work. Yeah,
but it allows you to have the free time to do what your passion is, right?
Yeah, man, for sure. Yeah, it's
music, podcasting, playing drums.
Yeah,
video production, sound engineering, all that stuff. By setting up your life the way you have, it allows you the opportunities to take those risks.
Playing drums has taught me a lot of things other than playing the drums. You know, like you said, with audio and video stuff, like learning how to record and capture this big, large, obnoxious instrument.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like you have to know how to set up mics and how to run the computer, and then if you want to make videos for Instagram and YouTube, you got to learn how to video editing and all this different stuff. So I've definitely learned a lot, through playing the drums, and not only just learned it, but I've also gotten myself job opportunities that way.
Exactly.
With, running sound in clubs and
but that's the hustle,
stuff like that. Yeah, that's a hustle. Yeah, got to wear.
You get good at something enough to where you can make some kind of money off of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm still working at it. Like I said, I'm trying to build up my following
but you have
do that. And
it may
I've gotten
but that's
gigs.
the thing from your perspective, you may not think that fully, but from the outside perspective, it's definitely that way.
Sure.
You've put yourself in a position where you get to get up every day and do things that you love, and you sometimes make money off of it, but that if you don't make enough, it doesn't stop you from continuing to doing that.
Yeah.
You just figure out a way to compensate where you're less at.
Yeah.
By going out and hustling.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people, especially even in this day and age, do that. Like if they go and do something and they fail at it, they just give up on it and they move on.
Yeah.
And you don't see a lot of people doing what you're doing, taking on a passion and making the passion their sole focus, and then everything else is to go towards that passion.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's good. It teaches you things about yourself, man.
Yeah.
It's like it's really good just to have something to focus on, and it's rewarding, and I love it, and I want it to eventually be my full-time job. So just keep going for it. I'm here, all the time, if not every day. Just about every other day.
You'll get there.
Yeah, man. Yeah, working on it. I got lots of projects. Got lots of fires burning, plates spinning.
But that's how you make it.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's how you do it.
Let's see. We're at 58 minutes, so we're almost there, my guy.
Cool.
I mean, we don't have to cut it off at an hour, but I usually just run these things for, about 1 hour.
You know me, I'll sit here and talk.
I know. It's like we could too. That's the thing. Yeah.
But no, I just want to commend you for you doing what you've done. So.
Well, thanks, man. Yeah. I mean, I partially have you to thank for some of that. Like I said earlier,
I'm here to do what I can do to help people out.
Yeah, and I love that we still get to hang out and be friends and go play disc golf and do podcasts. And
it's been awesome to know everybody I've known over the years. So
yeah,
and like as far as I'm concerned, like all those people that we played against or played with back in those days. Our family and will always continue to be. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's so great when I went and ref those tournaments out at your guys' field just to see everybody again.
Oh yeah,
and it was just such a cool experience to get to have a little bit of that again.
Yeah, no, and yeah, I mean all those guys. I mean, I there's out of all those kids back then, there's only maybe 3 or 4 of them that I don't know what's going on with them.
Yeah.
But the rest of them, I've stayed pretty much in contact.
What's funny too, actually, is Paintball. I got the spot that I'm in with the metal band that I'm in because of a Paintball friend. It was in the band, so
there you go.
Connecting dots.
Exactly.
Nick.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. But let's see. Any thing we should mention before we go? Any projects you're working on, or where to find you? Your podcast, Instagram.
Yeah, just find me on Facebook and Instagram at Edward Molter.
Edward Molter.
Yeah, you should be able to find me, and when I get around to doing podcasts again, you'll be able to find out.
Buddies with Bruce Bananas is on Spotify. You can find them there.
Yeah, there's I think about 15 episodes, something like that, maybe.
Nice.
But yeah, you can find our old episodes there. There's some pretty funny ones.
Yeah, they're hilarious. Definitely check them out.
And so yeah, go check that out. And keep listening to Charles.
All right,
following him.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, appreciate you.
Yeah.